I'm going to try to record something, but it looks like God is talking me to directly right here, which of course he is. So I wrote some notes in my composition book about synchronicity. To me, synchronicity is how you confirm that there's a higher power. And it's not just me who figured this out. I'm not, alone in this. It's a Jungian term. Carl Gustav Jung coined the term. And I will tell you the backstory of it. And I'm sure I've referred to this before, but this whole video will be about synchronicity because I think it's important. Hopefully when I upload this, it honestly doesn't look like that. It looks really dim and meek. I don't know what's gonna make it. How about that? Better? Can't have the wall outshine me. Okay, so Carl Gustav Jung. Jung, Jung, Swiss psychologist, father of analytical psychology, genius, alchemist, my hero. He was analyzing a patient's dream. I keep referring to this story, and I've heard it said so many different ways. But I wasn't there, but this is the story. He's analyzing a patient's dream. The patient is dreaming about golden scarab beetles, or a golden scarab beetle. And as they're talking about this dream, he's tapping at the window that's annoying him, and he opens the window, and in flies a beetle into his hand. And he came up with the term synchronicity right there. He's like, this is synchronicity, not his hand, the beetle. And it's basically confirmation from the universe that it's listening. Not just listening, but that you're on the right path, specifically if this is the path of growth. If you read the book The Alchemist, he talks about how the shepherd, Santiago, as he's following his dream, he finds more synchronicities, more of the language of the universe. And he talks about how if you stop living your dream, I always bring up like people settle for like a less than ideal partner, job, location, whatever the thing is, which like honestly, when I talk to my friends who are on the path, when we look around at marriages and relationships, like these people don't even belong together. It's just like I'm ready and you're here, let's do it. And then they kind of look outside the marriage or the relationship of whatever it is to be whole. They still need other things. And then you get trapped in those soul traps like materialism and getting caught up in gossip and the other bullshit things, posting things on social media. You just start wasting your life because you're looking for meaning elsewhere. It's a very good exercise to not take a break from social media, but to delete it. I guarantee you in the future, when they look at the fall of man, they'll be like, oh, so look at how social media was brainwashing and fucking everybody up. You're focusing on the wrong things, and you neglect yourself and the work that you have to do. Every single human being has this work to do to figure out. Like if I have stumbled upon a secret to the universe, I have stumbled upon this concept of synchronicity and experienced it for myself to the point where I have no doubt that there's a higher order in the world. I don't know what you call it, but I've confirmed with myself, and I'm going to go through the ways that you figure it out. And it has given me such peace that even when I'm sad, even if something unexpected happens, even, whatever the thing is, I never can get as sad as when I thought I was alone. And I've never felt more alone than when I was with the wrong people, to be fair. Like, I feel totally whole alone, actually, but alone in the universe is like a different alone. You know what I mean? because you kind of, your psyche, your ego kind of shuts everybody out, and you have this like safe space where it's only you or the real you and not the projection you or the mask that you're wearing for the rest of the world. Um, and I believe when you have what they call spiritual vision, you just see people without that mask, without that ego, with like what they're hiding, rather than monsters or something. I haven't really thought that out yet, but this is about synchronicity. So Jung discovered synchronicity, or coined the term. He didn't discover it because people have been talking about this for thousands of years. It's in a lot of ancient cultures and religions for a reason. I wrote this note last night on 3/13/24, which is a 4 in numerology when you add those up and reduce them. And I'm going to try to, when I write things down or significant things happen or I think of things, try to see if there's a pattern, you know? So if I'm at the end of a cycle, at the beginning or at the middle or whatever, maybe I can figure it out based on this. So this first quote, did I finish the thought of synchronicity? When you get the point, it's the universe answered Jung and the patient right there. And then when you follow the path, as in The Alchemist, it keeps talking to you, reassures you that you're on the right path, tells you when you're on the wrong, and we'll get to the types of, I watched a video on it, types of synchronicities and my personal experiences with them. So perhaps you can find your own synchronicities in your life. When you align yourself with the flow of the universe, synchronicity becomes the norm rather than the exception. Wayne Dyer said that. That is 100%. I would say, like, so many times in my life, I experienced something or synchronicity and I let it go rather than followed it. And then life is just full of cycles. So even when you have breakups, like it's bound to either the same person comes back or the same relationship will come back, and you have the same test, and you have to learn how to like handle these things. That's the purpose of life. It's not whatever you're doing, TikTok. So a synchronicity is a signpost that guides us towards self-discovery and spiritual growth. And it is a force that animates the universe. Like, this is the secret underpinnings of all the things. So if you can discover this working in your life, you have one of the keys to the universe. So what is the point of me talking to myself except to share this? Because it has given me more comfort and understanding and peace than anything. Now, I don't know if it's God. I don't know if it's like one of the lowercase g gods. I don't know if it's me in the future leaving me breadcrumbs. I don't know what it is. I don't know what to call it. But I can see it working in my life. And imagine eventually when you follow the path, you figure this stuff out. Eventually you develop your spiritual vision enough to become clairvoyant or something. Now, the reason this has been on my mind, a few weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was at work and something like flew across my path and landed, and it was like red. So I was like, what was that? And as I'm looking at it, it's like a pink ladybug, red, but no spots. So it just kind of looked more red. And as I'm like examining it, I'm like, oh, that's good luck. I'm like, oh, admiring it. And then a red Prius ran it over. I was like, oh. And I was really upset. I was like, I could have saved it. Like, I'm a germaphobe, but I'm not afraid of bugs. I would have picked it up and examined it. And instead, he's squished. And it was a red Prius that did it. I was like, okay, red. Ladybug is a symbol of transformation. And I think it was a symbol that I am off path. That I am abandoning my transformation rather than continuing the path. And then something happened that later later that day to confirm that. And although, like, the thing, I'm being purposely vague, the thing I think was very clearly not meant for me. I think that I have this desire to fix things, people, the world. You know, I want to help, and I take a knee every time like someone needs help. But I know that also, like, this is a spiritual journey is a solo journey. Everyone has to do it alone. So I can leave these breadcrumbs, and hopefully people follow them into their own enlightenment and their own journey and their own purpose and their own awakening and their own whatever understanding of life. That's my goal. I think my life purpose is to help people. I do a job where I help people in some way and make them happy, I suppose, but it's not the reason I was born wasn't to make money and buy things and watch TV and show off the things I own on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, there's something else. Um, I won't talk about that. Now, here's another quote. Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one. Albert Einstein said that. This concept of synchronicity is basically confirmation that reality is a response to our consciousness. Now, you should look up the double slit experiment. I'm going to butcher it if I try to explain it, but here we go. Why not? So scientists, shoot protons or particles through two slits, right? At random. And then they examine a membrane behind it to see where these particles land and to examine the pattern. And when they examine, instead of like going through the two slits and making two patterns, it's making five. So it's making a wave. And they're like, that's interesting. These particles act as waves. Let's put a camera on the other side and see how they're deciding to do that. When they put the camera, they act as particles. They just no longer as a wave, particles. They just land in two neat lines rather than five. Now, that implies that the particles are conscious because the particles knew that they were going to be observed. And this is baffling scientists because how do you describe it? This is like the part of science where it becomes spirituality, which these two things are necessarily linked. We're just kind of too dumb or blind to actually know how it works. Now, I keep getting text messages and it's infuriating, but I want to make this video before I get on with my day. So there's 5 different types of synchronicities. And I'm not sure if there's 5 distinct ones or there's more, but the video I was watching, I was like, okay, let me try and explain it and see if I can flush this out myself. I'm going to flush it out in real time. I wasn't planning on what I have to say. But the first one is the warning or alert synchronicity. Now, this is my own personal story, and you can believe it or not, I don't fucking care. I went to a concert with some friends, and the entire day leading up to it, I kept having this feeling of doom, like this intuition that something was wrong. And for the first time, I noticed where I parked on the street, a license plate in front of me said 666. And I was like, I learned in high school you're not supposed to, like, sequential plates shouldn't have asked 666, like this wasn't allowed. So something changed. But I was audibly complaining to my friends. Audibly. I was complaining loud and often that something was up, something felt weird. We stayed at an Airbnb that was like really creepy. It had mannequins and stuff in it, and like Catholic church pews, and like a statue that was like bleeding from the eyes, like cloaked figure. I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't want to stay here. I was complaining. Everyone said, Matt, shut up. I was like, okay, fine. So like that feeling inside me, something was going to happen. I silenced because what, you know, they're right. I thought, what could it be? You know what I mean? And I don't know if I want to say specifically what happened. It doesn't matter, I suppose. I'll leave it at that. Something bad happened. Something like that I thought I was going to die from. And like, yeah, whatever. I'll leave it at that. Um, so it was the first time I think I felt like I had the ability to be like psychic premonition. It was like I had the feeling, and you can argue that I created it. Did the feeling come first and then I made it happen? I don't know. I don't know. But the universe was telling me stuff. Like, um, it's usually like a cautionary signal that you're at a crossroads and you can go in two different ways here. So, like, if you think that everything in the world happens for a reason, which I do, you still have free will. You still choose a path. So you can obviously, I can choose to lay down outside in the street and eventually get hit, and that's a path. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean it was my designated path. But I started to think, like, I wonder if the day you're going to die, the universe tells you, so you can, like, there's people that like were supposed to be in the tower on September 11th, and then I have a weird feeling. Mark Wahlberg, I think, or he got a warning from the Illuminati. I don't know how it works. So the second type was that cryptic. I have other ones. But usually now, like once I started paying attention to them, like far, like years down the road now, if I see a symbol or synchronicity or pattern that looks to me and feels like I'm being warned, I change my direction, I change my path, and then immediately after I'll see 444, which the common term or the common understanding is that it means you're being divinely guided or protected by your angels. I don't know. I'm just telling you. Which brings me to number two, which is the confirmation or affirmation synchronicity. So when you're on the right path, you'll see things like 555 999 111 222. These are all like it's the universe just telling you, or 1111. You'll be like this morning, I did a job for a dealership, and when I saw the file they sent me, it was at 1111 exactly, 1111 0 seconds. Um, and I took a picture of it. I was like, oh, neat. And I saw 222 a bunch of times. So 222, from the common understanding, is keep going, you're on the right path, and even if you don't see results, keep going. So you don't always have there isn't always the clouds parting and God talking to you, but these little things, if you are on your path, it's every day. It really is every day. And it's a hard thing to explain to someone who's closed off, who's blind. And these confirmation or affirmations are confirmation or encouragement when you need it to show you that you should believe in your dreams and follow. Like, it's very hard to have faith. And these are the types of things that I see as synchronicities. You can find symbolic meaning in a lot of things. Like I started going to a new barber. Nice, it's fine. And he was talking to me about synchronicities, and he was saying like he broke up with his partner, and he's like feeling stuff. And always when you're feeling stuff, that's a great time to ask the universe for answers, because you're vibrating differently. You're sending out a frequency, and the universe will respond. So he's like looking up at a tree, and he sees a candy wrapper that's the same candy that his partner liked. And then he sees a small dog running away from its owner, and he's explaining like it's the dog that like is looking to see if the owner's still chasing, and then keeps giving chase. And he's like, this is like, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm chasing this thing, and it's running because I'm chasing. And I was like, yeah, I mean, the idea is that you hold your vibration and attract the thing that you want. So anytime you chase, like, you don't have to believe in anything spiritual. It's just, the anxiousness. You can read that book from Amir Levine, Attached. Like, when people are anxious, you cause someone to be avoidant. And if someone's avoidant, you cause someone to be anxious. So it's like you have to be aware of both. It's not like sometimes the people that are secure are probably just the most fucked up ones. You know what I mean? Like, you can be either one. You just have to be cognizant of these things, be conscious. So the confirmation or affirmation, the warning or alert, and the third one is prophetic. Sign, symbol, or events that foreshadow, like a dream or a vision. And it's the echoes of fate. It's like the echoes of the future coming into the past. So that ladybug thing was prophetic. It was like I actually saw something in real life that predicted something that was about to happen. It was like the end of something, the end of a cycle. And it took me some time to accept. It's hard to let go of something if you think someone's going to suffer from it. That's all I'll say about that. Number 4 is manifestation. You can manifest hopes and dreams. And motherfucker, the thing you will manifest most is your fears. Whatever you fear, you will create in this world. Trust me. Trust me. Your subconscious mind will do it. So you have to be very specific about what you want. So jobs, people, relationships, money, you can manifest. You can also manifest your doom. And if you accept synchronicity and you accept that manifestation synchronicities are a thing, you have to take it to its logical conclusion, which is that you have in this life what you think you deserve. I've had experiences where I can see people sabotage their lives or sabotage relationships because they feel unworthy. And it's a very sad thing. It's a very sad thing for a person to experience, but it's just part of the process. You have to become awake. You have to start noticing the signs. You have to, like, when your energy is depleted, like, know who's around you or know where you're spending it. Like, I know people that work's not good, and what they do is they just scroll TikTok. And I was talking to my friend, just broke up with his girlfriend. He's like, I'm seeing a lot of people breaking up recently. He's like, all these girls are on TikTok. He's like, I wonder if they're being like, we're told they're being brainwashed. This is the weird thing. We're told that, yeah, it's brainwashing you. So, like, this idea that something better is on the horizon, or they're strong, independent women. It's like breaking people up. And I'd be interested to see if that's actually a statistical thing. But when you are conscious, you are at least less likely to be influenced by outside factors, the news, friends, all this stuff. Like, you can manifest consciously. It's like, this is the direction, this is what I want, this is what it should look like. And then if something comes that is not that, you can easily say, okay, fuck off. This isn't it. I'm the right gender. You know what I mean? Everything's fine here, move along. So be cognizant of that, because this is the one people are doing the most and realize it the least, because this is something that your subconscious mind is constantly manifesting. It's working towards something. And when you have a feeling, if you have a feeling of abandonment, if you have a feeling of worthlessness, if you have a feeling of fear towards anything, you will create that reality. So it's not that the fear is real. It's not that this person scares me, or this job scares me, or this situation scares me. It's that your fear will create a reason to be scared of something. And then no matter what, you can put anything in that place, you'll have the same result, because it's you manifesting it. You are manifesting it. So be cognizant of that. If you believe anything I say, try it for yourself, self examine, and for the love of God, delete social media. It is the fall of man for sure. Because you're being constantly subliminal messages, symbolic meanings, like everything that you're absorbing, you're just staring at this. It's really retarded. Like, imagine what a human being's life looks like to a dog. You're either staring at this or this or this, the TV. Life's out there, bro. Go outside. The universe is talking to me, motherfuckers. You're sure you want to be on TikTok? The universe said something. You don't want to figure out what that is? I have a stack of books in that drawer all talking about this. Figure it out. Now, I've seen some weird stuff, honestly. Like my reality is science fiction. If I wrote a book or a movie about my actual life experiences through my eyes, it would be science fiction. But everything that I read, like when Carl Jung says no tree can reach heaven whose roots don't go down to hell, you can create hell here. You can create a reality that looks like hell. And I think subconsciously everybody's doing that because look around. It fucking sucks here. This is the worst time to be alive. But I also read Voltaire, and it's always looked like it's the worst time to be alive. So you kind of have to separate. Honestly, everything that the crowd is doing, I go the exact opposite way. This obscure Sony phone no one's ever heard of. The video quality sucks. It constantly overheats and does weird stuff. But I'm doing my own thing. It's like I have a feeling the symbolic stuff going on the other side is not good. Speak of the devil. Okay, so number 5 is opportunity. So sometimes synchronicity is you're in the right place in the right time. I think when I look back at my life, when I was growing up, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And as I started having job, work experience, school, like I was like, oh, I hate homework. When I get home, I don't want to work. It's like, give me all the work, requirements, test me, study. We should do it there. When I get home, fuck off. Like, let me do my own thing. I hated it. I was a very poor student. Tested well. That's how I got so far. But I can't be fucked spending all day thinking about one thing. Like the universe is so big, and everything I learned in school was wrong. I became dumber going to grad school. It really is schools for zombies, not for creative beings. Now, this one, the opportunity synchronicity, as I started to examine my life, I was always complaining that I have it so hard and everything. My childhood was bad and these relationships and people keep trying to kill me or whatever. It's like I have recently had the best relationship with my mom that I've ever had because I realized that as an adult, I have everything that I wanted. I don't have I'll tell you this. I did a job for like a guy like a year and a half ago, and he sold his business for $500 million. Okay. When I met the guy, he's like, "You look Italian. Are you Italian?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Oh, what are you?" I said, "I'm Persian." He's like, "Oh, when Persians want to grow up, they want to be Italian." And I was like, okay. And then he had like a fleet of cars. And my sales guy, I'm trying to help out this kid who needed money. So I was like, okay, he sold it for basically nothing. I was like, what are you doing? Like, you're not going to make any money off this. Like, the margins are thin and it's a lot of work. But I was trying to help this kid out. And then I said, we can do all of this in one day if you have someone do the labor of pulling the computers out of the car. And he said, sure, we'll have it done. We get there, nobody's done that. And it's a lot of work pulling these computers in and out of exotic cars. So I have my buddy Steve, my right hand man, my protege. Steve does all the labor. It's all day. And he's like has to make his flight. So it's like it was really stressful. So we had to do all this labor. And then we present the guy the bill. He says, "This isn't what we agreed to." I was like, "Yeah, you're right. You're right, because you fucked up. You didn't do your part." And he's like, "I'm not going to pay it. I'm just going to pay what we agreed." I was like, "Okay. Like, what can we do?" It's like, "Okay, I see." And then, like, with a cold motor, he starts this Ferrari 59 and he does it 599 and he does a burnout leaving. Cold motor. Like, okay, we just like added some power, the car's adapting. This guy is just like everything's a toy, right? So whatever. Like, he burned us. So nobody really made any money on the job. It was a bad experience. And the thing is, the reason we know him is he bought a car that I had tuned, a Pagani. This Pagani is like a multi-million-dollar car, and I'm the best in the world at this, actually. Like, this is what I'm known for. And he's like, "Yeah, I want you to tune my fleet." And then when the car went to Pagani for service, the service guy calls me. He's like, "Who is this asshole? Like, he's so demanding and he's like being a dick to me." I'm like, "Yeah, we had the same experience." Small PP energy. And then this week, a year and a half later, he's demanding that, he's like mad at me. He broke one of his cars and he's blaming me. And he's like, "I need all of these cars set back to stock." It's like, "Okay, that's fine. Send us the computers and we'll set it back to stock. It'll cost this much." What needs to happen is someone needs to fly out here and fix this. No, no. Like, this is the consequence of your action, my guy. You know what I mean? He didn't think when he's burning me, I might need this guy later, or I might buy new cars that need to be tuned, or what if there's a problem? He's just, and he has enough money. You know what I mean? I uh, I run into so many people like this, and I feel like it's a spiritual test, because it triggers me into my ego when someone is like that. When someone's like that, I enjoy, like, putting someone who doesn't have a skill or doesn't have like the self-worth in their place, or pointing out their narcissism or their fragile ego or whatever. It's just like, it's funny to me. Um, and he's like threatening us. I'm like, "You can't hurt my reputation because I'm mostly wholesale. The people know me and they trust me implicitly. You can't sue me because you won't get any money. You won't win. Plus, like, all my friends are professionals, so I get free legal help." And he's like, "You have no bargaining power here. What are you demanding? I don't work for you. I specifically engineered my life, or had the right opportunistic synchronicities to give myself a life where I don't answer to people. I used to work for people like this guy, and imagine how he's going to write my check every month, especially if I do good. He's going to feel like I'm stealing from him." I had a experience where, when I started working for, like, in this industry, I worked for free to save this company. What what happened was, the manager stole all the money in the bank account and bounced, and there was like outstanding checks that were about to go through, and the engineer um, set up in competition with, like, direct competition. So there was no money, plus in the hole. But this was like, I knew this is what I wanted to do. I knew I found something. I was like, "This is it. I'm going out." And the owner of the company lives in Australia. He was like, "I reckon it's over." And I said, "Well, what if I work for free?" And like, you know what I mean? He's like, "You're welcome to try, but yeah, I don't." He wasn't going to help me. He wasn't going to pay me any money. He wasn't going to send any money. He's like, "Well, I'll do it." So I worked for free for a while, and like, I had some friends come and help me, and it was starting to. I was having fun, even though I wasn't making money. Like, and then I remember we had like 15 grand in a bank account. And I call him and I say, "So can I pay myself now?" can I pay my friends? Like, we've been working. He's like, you have 15 grand in the account? I was like, yeah. He's like, hold on. He calls me back. He's like, I found a silver Boxster S um, with red interior. I need you to go buy this car for $13,999. I was like, okay. And this business was open for 10 years and had no credit. So I was like trying to, with my own personal credit, get a car loan to get him this car. He lives in Australia. He wanted to drive his 15-year-old felon best friend down PCH into Mexico, which is like another story. But story for another day, and it is what you think. Um, and I couldn't make it happen. I had obligations. I had to pay myself and people. And then when the car sold, he called me and told me I was incompetent. And I was like, you motherfucker. He told me it's my choice what I do with my money. I was like, you had nothing to do with this. You didn't even know the you don't know the account number. You're not signed on the account even. It's like, this isn't your money. What do you mean? And the right amount of things, wrong and right, happen. Like, for me to have that opportunity to get this skill set to perfect, and then for me to like start clearing the path, because I believe life should be, you should live in abundance without so much conflict. Even relationships, there's so many, like, relationships, there's so much stupid conflicts, stupid fights. I don't want to have any of this shit anymore. You know what I mean? Like, everything should be, we're going in the same direction, right? I said it the other day that during my spiritual awakening, during this path of individuation, or my dark night of the soul, I started feeling and seeing proof of the devil. And you can say that's literal or figurative, it doesn't matter. But this phrase I learned is, the reason the devil isn't present in your life is you're walking in the same direction. That's why you don't cross his path. You're doing everything that he wants you to do. You consume his movies, his TV, his music, his fashion, his food. You know what I mean? Like, crossing into conspiracy, the logo of a lot of like companies are 666, and I believe in numerology, so it could be innocent. I don't know. It could just be that's the number of abundance. But if all like the richest people, like Andrew Carnegie talked about Neville Goddard's manifestation techniques, like feeling is the secret. You're supposed to feel the feeling of you being where you want to be, and then the universe will respond, which is this synchronicity. Same thing. So supposedly, in this video that I saw, that Andrew Carnegie was approached by the government, like, how are you doing this? Where's your wealth coming from? What are you doing? Insider trading? Are you doing something shady? He's like, I went to this Neville Goddard thing, and he told me, and he's like counting, you can try this at home, counting money before he slept. Like, seeing the dollar, feeling it, counting until he's counting millions of dollars, and then became, could be bullshit. Maybe he was doing shady stuff, but try it. But my point in this opportunity synchronicity is, bad things were happening to me. Like, I couldn't get my car registered. I was getting taken advantage of, people like charging me for things I didn't need. And I was just like, I was in my early 20s, so no one really gave me any respect. And the bad things led to opportunities that now gave me the life I want, where it's afternoon maybe, and I can sit here and talk to myself, rather than, I already made money today. I already solved problems for people. This is how life should be, I think. You work because you enjoy it, not because you have to. You have free time to think. And when I started making it, when I started making money, I realized that if I worked harder, I could make double or triple or 10x what I make. And I realized I'd be exchanging time for money. And that is the dumbest thing you could do while you're here. Sure, you could die tomorrow and you can't take the money with you. Like, that's the very basic thing. My brother, he thinks that his life will start at retirement, so he doesn't spend any money. It's very cheap. Like, buys refurbished laptops to play games with. So we're playing games and then it shuts down in the middle. It's like, I will give you whatever you want. Please spend money. Just spend the money. So it's fine. And I've gone into polar, like seeing him do that. I'm like, that's disgusting. And then I just burn money. Um, so don't be like me either. But synchronicity. Um, there are a few things that I always bring up that, and synchronicity is part of, the universe is listening. So there is some force, right? And that means that you can talk to it, that it responds. That means that you are it also. Rumi said, you're not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop. Because he was an alchemist, he's giving you a secret. This idea in esoteric, like occult secret stuff, is that you are God, lowercase g. If you are part of the all, as it says in the Kybalion, you're part of the all, you are also contain God. So you're lowercase g God, part of the whole, which means like all souls in this universe come from the same place. We are the same thing. We're all interconnected, and that's how synchronicity exists. Now, that is like, you have to be reading quite a bit of stuff to get to that thing. And coming from, you have a 9-to-5 job and have a boss and have Starbucks every day, and you spend your free time scrolling, or when you're shitting, you're scrolling through social media apps to just keep you busy. Like, it sounds insane. But the truth is stranger than fiction, I promise. And you'd be aware of it if you weren't poisoning your body with like things that affect your vibration, your ability to interact with this world is affected by the things you consume. All the things that you're consuming will affect your ability. So that's part of the reason why I came on this, no pun intended, brahmacharya, like semen retention, no fap, whatever you want to call it. It's like, oh, I'm affecting my brain. I'm affecting my ability to manifest in the world. The esoteric people say that instead of impregnating a woman, you impregnate the world with your will when you don't waste this energy. If we're all energy, if the universe is energy and responds to energy, you should be careful how you spend it. And what you're staring at, that's where your energy is going. So if your body gets sick, if your work doesn't go well, if whatever your relationships, if things aren't going well, be cognizant of how you're spending your energy, because the natural state of things is flow. The universe flows without resistance. It's you resisting that's the problem. So me now at 38, almost 39, where did the time go? Every year goes faster, by the way. So at 39, I never get sick. I used to get sick once a month for a week. Like every flu season, the flu double. Like my sinus infections, when I was little, I had ear infections. They put tubes in my ears. Like I was always sick. And then when I cleaned up what I'm consuming, even when I hang out with sick people, I don't get sick. It's really bizarre, actually. But it must mean necessarily there's something to the things that I've learned. You know what I mean? I'm not just guessing. If I read something in a book, like I read about the Phoenix Protocol, where you fast for 7 days with no food or water. Like, water doesn't touch your body even. It's how the astronauts detox from deep space radiation. It's the only, like, there's nothing you can consume to get rid of it, but your body's a self-cleaning thing. So it gets rid of germs and disease and whatever, unless you're poisoning it. When I was getting sick all the time, I ate mostly fast food. There's no nutrition in it. There's no nutrients in it at all. And now I filter my own water, and because the filter is so good, it filters out fluoride and all this other bullshit. I have to put a pinch of like pink Himalayan salt or Celtic salt, and it gives you the nutrients. So my body is having clean water. Like, I've never had a clean glass of water in my life. Anything out of a plastic bottle, you're drinking straight poison, dude. Um, and you can taste it. It's so weird. Um, so weird. If I go to a restaurant, I ask for bottled water from a glass. It's like, and also sparkling water is not good, FYI. You can Google why, but nothing should touch your lips except water. No sodas, no coffee, energy drinks. It's crazy that people, like, it's a drug. You ever notice when you don't have your caffeine, you have a headache? You're having literal drug withdrawals. It's crazy that they got the entire world addicted to this shit. And you know what? It affects your vibration. It affects your ability to manifest. It affects these things. Because these things were happening to me. I couldn't see till my body was clean, till my mind was clean. And I was thinking last night, it was really hard to delete social media. Especially like at a certain point, I was spending so much time, and I was like curating memes for my friends, and eventually people just followed me to look at my memes, my funny pictures. And deleting it, it's like it was a huge part of my day. And I think a week later, I was like, what was I doing with it? Like, I don't even know what I'm doing with the extra time now. Like, I still feel it somehow, but it's so weird. Like, every time you look at your phone, I feel like every time you look at your phone, you're losing energy into it. So, like, even if I'm dating someone, I'm texting, like, I'll notice my hands hurt. Like, my hands will feel like they're burning. Like, the bone feels like it's burning. It's like I feel the radiation. So I don't want to spend any time on my phone. And I loved that when I got rid of my iPhone, all of a sudden I got rid of social media, iPhone, all this stuff together. And then I'm not in group chats. I'm not Instagram like group chats, and all this stuff was gone. I can come home and turn my phone off. You have no idea how much you are a slave to this fucking thing. I hate it. I hate it. As soon as I can afford to disappear, you'll never see me again. Don't contact me. I'm going to be on a beach somewhere ignoring your ass. So, in conclusion, be mindful of your thoughts always. Even if you don't believe in synchronicity or manifestation or whatever, you are creating it. Now, you don't have to believe in the spiritual path to understand that's true, because in psychology, they say this. Like, in scientific, peer-reviewed, whatever, like, you will create your childhood, your feelings of whatever they are. You will create it in your relationships or your friendships or your business work or whatever. You are subconsciously doing it anyways. So you should be cognizant of that. And then if you pay attention to synchronicities. Now, I had an experience recently where I was driving to San Diego. I saw the number 777 like a half dozen times at least. And I was like, okay, sign. What does this mean? And I don't hear words. I'm not schizophrenic. So I don't know, try to think about it. Like, hey, what is it? And then the person I was with was like, do you think it's a message from so-and-so? I was like, I don't know, let's ask. Asked it out loud. If we see the number 77 again, it's confirmation that it's this. And then I see it again. And then it was on a blue, like a royal blue Prius. And I asked if there was any significance to that color. And there was. So like, okay, confirmation. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, like in my unconscious days, I think that's funny. I think that's interesting. I think it's a coincidence. But I know there's no such thing as coincidence, because if anything happens for a reason, everything happens for a reason. It's like all of the videos I watch, they say the universe is a tapestry, a complex tapestry. I don't know why they keep using this word, but it's like a spider web where everything is connected and everything is resonating with everything. So there is necessarily a cause and effect to all things. It's like the butterfly effect, right? So we're just too zoomed in to know what the big picture is. And that's also why we suffer. When we have an emotion or we want something and it doesn't happen, we suffer because we think that's what we want, because our information is limited. But if we hold on to the path, if we follow synchronicities, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if what I'm saying is true, because the idea is that I manifest the perfect life, which so far I wouldn't trade my life with anyone that I know. And of course, you could look at famous people or whatever, but I genuinely do not want to be famous. I think that's the worst thing that could ever happen to a human being. What a absolute nightmare. Look at like all these people drown, like Matthew Perry bloating himself and dying. There's always like it's like wishing on a monkey paw. Like the devil gives you what you want, but it comes at a cost. And I don't need anything. And I think that's what this super wealthy guy doesn't understand. It's like, I don't need anything from you. I don't need your approval, and you can't hurt me. You can't even hurt my feelings. You can't buy me. That's what fuck you money is. You can have $1 and have like Seneca, I think, had $0 and he had fuck you money. Marcus Aurelius was it Marcus Aurelius or Alexander? It was like, name anything and I'll give it to you. He's like, can you fuck off? You're in the way of my son. Like, he's talking to the most powerful man in whether it was Marcus or I think it was Alexander, because Marcus Aurelius would have known better. But he was like, I wish I had what he has, which is just like that's how we should be. Like, I can't be enticed to do things. And weirdly, I've been screwed over by people for their short-term financial gain. And when I look, it never worked out for them. It never worked out for them, because the universe will balance it. Especially if you earn something that is ill-gotten, it's like holding water like this. It's like, do your best to hold on to it. But like I say, money is a representation of energy. So if your energy is flowing, money should flow. If your energy is stagnant, your life will stagnate. So if you feel stuck, it's you doing it, I assure you. And it's on you to figure out how to get unstuck. And then hopefully, if you pay attention to these synchronicities, when you are at a crossroads especially, that's when these things showed up the most. And that's when I started to pay attention. I was like, maybe there's something to it. And then when I started paying attention to it, now it's constant. Now I don't have any question. So if I can get you to get to that point, I've given you a key to the universe. I've given a key to solving your life's problems. Now, another thing is in numerology and whatever, Nikola Tesla said, if you know the power of 3, 6, and 9, you'll have a key to the universe. These seem to be very powerful numbers in numerology as well. And I think they represent parts of the path. And when I see 3s repeating, 6s repeating, or 9s repeating, that's always significant. I'm sure there is much more to it than that, but pay attention. And that's why I'm starting to see what the dates are. The dates were picked by, the calendar was made by people who understand numerology. So that's why it's the year 2024. It doesn't actually mean anything. And there's something called the I Ching, which is the Chinese. It's not just Chinese zodiac. It's like a numerology report that tells you everything that happens in your life. And I don't want to do it because I don't like spoilers. I want to do it the hard way. So I think that concludes synchronicity for today. It might come back. I mean, I'll talk about it all the time, especially as I experience them. But yeah, the person I was with when I experienced, like, I asked out loud for the universe to give a sign, and the universe answered. To me, that's always like, oh, this was an important moment. I should pay attention. To the other person that was with me, it was like, I need the universe to hit me with a dump truck before I believe it. It's like, okay, I was the same. Eventually, the truth is the truth whenever you're ready, you know. And I wish you luck. But synchronicity has possibly saved my life. Like, I maybe wouldn't be here if I didn't pay attention to certain things, and my gut, my intuition. They say that is your subconscious mind, which is connected directly to God. So, like, when I felt like something is off, like a girl came into my life really trying to sell herself as like, I'm the perfect partner for you. Let's wait till marriage to have sex. I'm deleting all my social media. It's not for you. It's because I feel like I should. I'm gonna get rid of all my guy friends because blah blah blah. I was like, okay, like all this very performative stuff, but like, come on, come on. You think I'm blind? I'm stupid. So I just let this performance go, and then of course, um, anyone who's ever lied to you, you have like a built-in lie detector, and you can feel the energy. You can feel when someone pulls away, like they start talking to someone else. You can feel when that happens, and it's just, I don't get upset about those types of things, but it's just funny that I think they were trying to convince themselves as much as they're trying to convince you. It's like, hey, meet my needs, um, and you get nothing out of it except you get to be seen with me. He's like, oh no, thank you. I'll be alone. I'll be alone just fine. I appreciate it. Thanks for the offer. I've had a lot of beautiful idiots come into my life wanting for me to save them. And it takes a lot more, honestly. And we'll see how that goes. I'll follow the synchronicity to that same person. Someone who's like me, who's done the work, someone who's, it's the most important thing to me, because you won't have any stupid fights. If you know the order of the universe, if you know that there is a higher power, like, you can't get away with lying, cheating, stealing, stuff like this. There's no point. You know that. So you will never have to have the same fights. And even if, like, big if, something happened like cheating, it's not the deal breaker that it is in a, like, unconscious relationship, because there's a type of openness that you can't get unless someone's on the same vibration as you. I really don't think there is any type of cheating or anything like that in the relationship that I envision. Because, like, for instance, alcohol is not part of my life, because I know that it affects my vibration. They call it spirits for a reason. So I've experienced a few times where I black out and I keep going, and people say, oh, you were so fun, you should keep doing that. And then when I recount the night or I hear stories, I'm like, that doesn't sound like me at all. It's like, I did what? I don't want that to be part of my life. It's not part of my story. It's not what I want to teach, like, the next generation if I have kids. Of course, I had to see it for myself. Like, this is something I knew, and I strayed from my path because I wanted to fit in. I wanted people to like me. I wanted to be sociable. I wanted to be happy. It's like the dumbest people seem to be the happiest. Have you seen Love on the Spectrum? These fucking adorable fucks. They are the happiest. They're like dogs. They're just always happy, wagging their tail. I wish. I'm the wrong kind of retard. I'm like the existential crisis one. Oh, fuck. Anyways. So that's what I envision as, like, a life partner, is someone who's done the work, who's on the same path, who understands, like, this has to be something that they came to on their own also, not something that I'm like, this is how it works, trust me. Because, you have to see it yourself. Just like if your parents told you what religion to be, you can follow all the rules, but you won't have the actual belief. And coincidentally, Carl Jung's dad was a pastor. On his deathbed, said it's all bullshit. And now Carl Jung's version of God or the universe, whatever the function is exactly what I believe in, is what I found independently. You should be able to find the answer without someone guiding you. You should be able to find the answer yourself, because you're not a drop in the ocean, you're the ocean in a drop. So God is within you. You are part of God. You have the answers. And I guarantee you it's not anything you've been sold. There's no campaign for this version of God. And you have to seek it. The types of God that seek you, lowercase g, and is usually the other guy. It's a evil, nefarious, take you off course. Even these gurus that have like sex parties and stuff, they can be very spiritual people, but you cannot have such a glaring character fault and pretend to speak for God, like Joel Osteen or these celebrity pastors. Like, what is a celebrity pastor? So bizarre. So the version of God that I found is in ancient texts, is in Carl Jung's Red Book, sitting on my table, and it's so much easier to digest because I have a direct connection. I don't have to ask your dumbass about it. I ask me, because I know everything. So yeah, the language of the universe. I would say, in order to get on this path, read the Kybalion by the Three Initiates, which gives you the basic rules of the universe. It's like the laws that everything is governed by here. And then read The Alchemist and try to relate The Alchemist to your own personal hero's journey. And I think it's Homer's, I think I said Plato before, but it's Homer's who did the hero's journey. It's not just a way to tell stories, it's how your life goes. So if you're feeling lost and confused and down, that is supposed to happen. The breakup was hard, or the losing your job, or losing a family member, like these things are hard, but it creates an emotion in you, which is a feeling, which is a vibration, which is a frequency that the universe responds to. And nothing motivates people more than pain. And like I said, when I understood, I had the perfect mom. She did the exact things right and exact things wrong. So it means everything was right. How can I be mad? Great job, Mom. Good job. Love you. Dad too. But he thinks he did a good job, so it's harder to give him credit. So synchronicity is ever present in my life. And you still have the full gamut, the full spectrum of emotions and autism. But you never feel hopeless. You never feel alone. You never feel helpless. You never feel like the world is crushing you. Because if you feel that way, you're going to make it happen. It's you doing it. So you should have some shame and stop telling people, why you should feel sorry for yourself. Not productive. You need to change your vibration. If you change your vibration, change your frequency, change your emotion, the universe will respond. That's a Neville Goddard teaching. There's a lot of videos about it on YouTube. You can also look that up. And then journal. I have to do it like this because my mind goes a lot faster than my pen and I get cramps in my hand. So I'll have like little notes and stuff that I write things. But this has been more helpful. And I think eventually maybe I will be able to, if I find a method to it, or I get to the end, the finish line, whatever that is, I'll be able to write a book or write a process or something to follow. And I'm obviously not the typical guru or spiritual leader you would think. But I think my life purpose is to help people. And this is the best way I know how. Because everybody I know is in pain. Like a lot of my peers are depressed and It's because they don't have this. They don't have this answer. Jung says that you have to believe in a higher power, and it's not a belief. Belief holds you back. You have to know the higher power. And when you study a book and you think God is vengeful, or you think God is going to punish you and stuff like that, you're wrong vibration, wrong God, lowercase g. When you feel like you are powerless and God is going to punish you if you do something wrong, it's you punishing you. Because God set up the universe to have laws. If you break the law, if I walk off the Empire State Building, I am subject to the laws of the universe, right? God didn't do it, and the devil didn't do it. I did it. So there's karma, there's cause and effect. These are all laws in the Kybalion that you can look up. Mentalism, all is mind. Vibration, everything's at vibrating, nothing's at rest. So if the first law is mentalism, that means the most important thing should be your state of mind and your thoughts. And if you pay attention to that, and be cognizant of the things that you consume which affect that. That includes what you're scrolling through, that includes what you're consuming. I promise you'll see a difference. You'll see a difference. You'll get to wherever it is that you need to go. So, what do you think I should call my cult? I'll think about it. The other thing is, inevitably on this path, Hermeticism, or the laws in the Kybalion, have been adopted by a lot of cults. So like when I first started looking at it, I was like afraid. I was like, oh, is this against God? Because I didn't understand. I was like, no, this is the oldest religion in the world, which is monotheistic, and it explains the laws of the universe. of people that are in cults that try to, I say cults, secret societies, secret whatever the fuck, try to manipulate people and the universe for their benefit. They use the actual laws of the universe. So that means that it works. Otherwise, it wouldn't have lasted. There's a way to manipulate these things, I guess, to learn about it. And when you have like a framework of how things work, like cause and effect, I did a job for someone this week, and I was supposed to sell it. I was supposed to sell it for $4,000. I was doing two things, and then as I tried to do it, I was like, oh, I could only do half of it. And then I had this like I can't charge $4,000 if I can only do $2,500 worth of work. So I told them, I was like, I could only do this, and I can't. You know what I mean? No one is going to check my work. No one will ever find out. I could get away with it, but I wouldn't get away with it. And I really like these little things, like when no one's looking, how I act, who I decide to be, taking my grocery cart back, even making sure I throw away my trash, or if I see trash on the floor, I pick it up and throw it away. I'm trying to be someone deserving of the rewards I seek in this universe. And it works that way. The more I'm cognizant of that, like when, I don't know if I should say this, but like if someone needs help, I help. And I don't think it should always be financial, but that's always like I don't want to be used for money anymore in my life. Like I've had enough of that, but it does solve a lot of people's problems. And I gave money to someone who I thought needed it. And he didn't use it for the intended purpose. And he kept saying, oh, I'll give it back, I'll give it back. And then now he like seems like he's trying to avoid me, or doesn't, like maybe he spent it already. It's like, dude, it's okay. I wouldn't have given it to you if you need to pay me back. Like if you used it, like if God told me to help you, it's to help you. If you needed help in another way, go ahead. What you do with the money is between you and God. But if I felt compelled to help, that's on me. I'll deal with the consequences. It's fine. So I'd rather help with my hands, although I don't want to get dirty. So like if I see someone pulled over on the side of the road, I ask if they need help, because I keep tools in my car just in case. I keep a jumper in my car just in case. And I've been able to help a couple of people and save them money, save them a toe, save them the anguish. And it's more fulfilling, honestly, than handing someone crisp bills. So when they say you reap what you sow, I'm trying to sow good seeds. Um, that's it. That's enough, right? I'm glad that in the daytime it looks so angelic in here, because at night it looks like bad. Okay. Thanks for listening so long. Should I talk for 30 more seconds? 110 is fine. I will see you next time. Love you. Bye.